Hello class, my name is Mary Hubbard and today I will be discussing and answering the following questions that were given in the assignment. The scenario I chose from the assignment states, your friend is worried about the many vaccines that his newborn son is scheduled to receive and asks you for advice since you are taking a biology course. Before I answer the following questions that come after the scenario, I would like to provide some historical background regarding the invention of vaccines. Before 1796, many people were infected with a virus called smallpox. The first person to suggest a method of vaccination for preventing smallpox was British physicist Edward Jenner. According to the History of Vaccines article, Jenner conducted experiments to test his hypothesis regarding the direct inoculation of a person with a less contagious version of smallpox. He figured that inoculation with cowpox would be the new way to provide immunity for the body. The immune system has different processes involved when viruses and bacteria are present. When bacteria invade the body, they attack and multiply, causing infection. The immune system uses white blood cells to fight infection. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, macrophage swallow the germs and leave the invading germs called antigens. The second type of white blood cells are B lymphocytes, which are defensive and produce antibodies to fight off infection. Finally, the T lymphocytes recognize the familiar germs and produce antibodies to fight infection, according to the Centers for the Disease Control and Prevention article. The purpose of vaccines is to imitate an infection to teach the immune system to fight it against in the future, which helps the body prepare itself against a particular disease. Provide immunity against diseases that contain weakened versions, dead versions, or parts of a germ. There are different types of vaccines scientists have created to fight off different diseases. The first is the live and inactivated vaccines, which fight viruses, and they contain a weakened version of a living virus. The second is the non-live vaccines, which fight bacteria as well. They're made by inactivating killing the germ. The third is the toxoid vaccine, which prevents diseases caused by the bacteria that produces toxins in the body, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The next one is the subunit vaccine, which include parts of a bacteria and the essential antigens. Finally, the conjugate vaccines fight against bacteria that have antigens and polysaccharides as a coating. mRNA, messenger ribonucleic acid vaccines, work with the cells that make proteins in the body. According to the Vanderbilt Institute, the mRNA teaches the cells how to make a specific protein to create an immune response. The mRNA vaccines do not contain live viruses. They're highly effective, fast to develop, compared to the traditional vaccines that take months and even years. The mRNA vaccines are non-infectious, whereas the traditional vaccines have live infectious agents. The RNA vaccines are made through a cell-independent process and do not require inactivation. They rapidly degrade in the body and do not take up foreign mRNA. The RNA vaccine teaches the cells in the body to make proteins or pieces of proteins. The immune system responds by producing antibodies. Once mRNA is in the body, it produces harmless pieces of spike protein, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention article. Spike protein is found on the surface of the virus that causes a certain type of virus, for example, COVID-19. After the protein piece is made, the cell breaks down the mRNA, removes it, and leaves the body as waste. The cell displays the spike protein on the surface. The immune system recognizes the protein doesn't belong, and it produces antibodies to fight the foreign invader, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Infants are supposed to be vaccinated for diphtheria, tetanus, whooping cough, polio, hepatitis B, rotavirus, and pneumococcal disease. They're also supposed to be vaccinated against measles, mumps, rubella, and as children get older to 1 to 2 years old, they can receive the annual flu vaccine, according to the NI Direct Government Services. When children are 12 to 13 years old, they can receive the HPV virus, known as the human papillomavirus. When they are 14 and 18 years old, they can receive the vaccines such as meningitis. These vaccinations have reduced the cases and spread of infectious diseases over the past 100 years. Life expectancy has improved over the years thanks to the new health treatments and technologies. The common viruses such as smallpox, polio, measles have decreased and been reported in low numbers in children ages 5 or less, according to Roser, Ortiz, Ospina, and Ritchie. The spread of smallpox and polio have declined since children have been vaccinated against these diseases in the 1980s. When there was a vaccination routine established, the outbreaks and spread of diseases listed previously became less common. Parents are worried about giving their children vaccines due to religious reasons, personal beliefs, philosophical reasons, and safety concerns, according to McKee and Bohannon. There are parents who believe that natural immunity is better for their children. Some believe that there's no reason to vaccinate their child, and others think that putting extra chemicals in their children is not necessary. As for safety reasons, parents are worried about the long and short-term effects, such as brain damage, autism, behavioral problems, heart problems, and overloading the immune system. The MMR vaccine, known as measles, mumps, rubella, have showed signs of autism due to studies being conducted. There have been reports regarding the MMR vaccine, which have been studied and found that children have shown signs of autism, according to the National Library of Medicine article. In 2001 to 2003, a study conducted showed that MMR vaccine contained the preservative thimerosal, which caused autism. The report showed that the MMR vaccines were linked to neurodevelopment disorders such as autism. Thimerosal is an organic mercury compound that is preservative in some vaccines and other biological and pharmaceutical products. There is evidence of children being affected by the neurotoxin mercury when they were developing, leading to potential biological mechanism related to vaccines and autism. I would recommend my friend's newborn son receive the recommended vaccines, even though there have been negative side effects for some people. The more common virus vaccinations, such as measles, smallpox, influenza, have helped many children have a stronger immunity against these diseases and now affect fewer people. There have been many studies and protocols to ensure the safety of these vaccines. Not receiving a vaccine and having no immunity against the disease is harder on your immune system and increases the chances of serious health risk and possible death. Unvaccinated children are more likely to become infected with the disease, and if they do not become seriously ill, they can spread it to someone with a weaker immune system that is more vulnerable and can possibly die from this disease.